Welcome to the class. The first thing we need to do is we need to go to the website aplusstudents.com. Once you're on the website, you select math as your subject. This is a grade 8 math lesson. Grade 8 math lesson, and the name of the topic for today is statistics. Okay, I'll give you the chapter number and the lesson number. The chapter number 25 and lesson number 6. Chapter number 25, lesson number 6, and we would be studying today identifying an outlier. We would identify an outlier. An outlier is something that is out of the range, right? Some value that would be far away from the range. Okay, so let's suppose for the given test, given information, just a moment please. If okay, I'll go to the website, grade 8, chapter number 25 and lesson number 8. Okay, let's suppose if there is an example is, okay, there's a maths test, marks are 20 marks, right? A few students appear for the test. They got 12 marks, 15, 18, 19, and 20, right? Once one student got 20 marks, but there's a one student who got a 0 as well. So in this case, what we can see is if there were 6 students, right? 0, 12, 15, 18, 19, and 20, right? The outlier in this case is 0. Why? Because it's far away from the remaining numbers. Okay. So what we would see in outliers is for any given information, a number that is very less or very large would be defined as a outlier. So let's take an example. For the first example that we have is, okay, just a moment, please. I'll copy this. Okay. For the first question, the information given to us is this. From this given set of information, we need to find the outlier. Outlier was the number that is out of range. Okay. Or we can say an outlier. An outlier is an extreme value. An outlier is an extreme value. Sometimes we have a good temperature, right? If it's summers, we have a good temperature in 20 somewhere, but some days it becomes 40, right? Regularly we are having in 20s, but one day it goes to a 40. That means a 40 would be an outlier, right? There's no specific way of finding an outlier. It's just that we need to look at the information that has been provided to us, and then we can find which one would be an outlier. So once we look at these numbers that have been given to us, see, the numbers were, the maximum was 99 and the least was 1. So we need to see where the numbers are closest to, okay? If I draw a number line, we don't have to draw a number line, just trying to show. 1 would be here, whereas 73, 79, 85, and 99 would be concentrated, would be more focused on one corner, right? That means 99 cannot be an outlier, whereas 1 is far away from 73. Agreed? An outlier can have a big effect on the mean. It can reduce the mean and everything, right? It can change the values. So in this case, the outlier number is would be 1. Agreed? Why would the mean change? Because it's an extreme value. Because if we are taking the mean of 73, 79, 85, 86, 88, 90, and 99, right? The mean would be very close to a number between 73 and 99. But once we take 1 as the mean, 1 also included in this data set, the mean will come nearer to 73. The mean will reduce. Okay, do we agree? Hi, FJ. What we are doing is we are just looking at what an outlier is and what effect can an outlier have. Okay, so let's select another set of numbers and let's see what effect would an outlier have. Let's suppose on the range or the mean. Okay, so if these were the numbers which were given to us, okay, let's see. We do not have to solve the mean or the range. We're just trying to assess the information, right? What impact can be there? In this case, we know the minimum number is 20, right? The minimum was 20 and the maximum was 617. So what we need to do is we need to look at the next number. 20 and 27 are close, but 617 and 92 are very far apart. Agreed? So we say if as per the information that has been provided to us, if we say the outlier for this information should be, the outlier would be 617. Okay, let's look at the same question and see what impact would an outlier have. Okay, if we have these numbers with us, one of the numbers we will consider an outlier. In the second set we will remove the outlier, and then we'll see what impact does it have. In this set, let's suppose we are removing the outlier. Okay, let's remove the outlier over here. Let's look at the range over here. We know that the range of data is always the maximum value minus the minimum value. Agreed? Let's try to find the range for either of these data sets if we do not have an outlier. So in this case, if we want to find the range, the maximum was 617 minus the minimum, this was 20. Agreed? So the range comes out to be 593, I think. No, 670 minus 20, 597, right? So we can say the range comes out to be 597. But if we want to see the range without an outlier, the maximum number was 92 and the minimum number was 20. So can we say the range without an outlier would come out to be 72 only? So the impact of the outlier in this case is the values would differ by a huge difference over here. And that's why it's called an outlier. Outlier changes the range, outlier changes the median. Median would not be affected usually because we're canceling out the numbers from ascending, but the mean is affected also. We can write this as an outlier affects the range and mean. Okay, if you have only 4 options, mean, median, mode, and range, so the range and the mean will be affected by the outlier. Let's try another example. For the next set of questions, next set of values, we have the questions given are very simple. I'm trying to make them like have more information on it, right? So therefore, we are just trying to do, just a moment, please. In this question number 3, let's try to do with the mean. Let's see what impact would it have on the mean. For question number 3, we know the minimum number is 5, right? We know the minimum value is 5. What about the maximum value? Was 69. When 5 is compared to the next number, the numbers have to be in ascending order, right? There's a gap of 42 over here. But when 69 is compared to 60, there's a gap of 6 only, right? This is a gap of 42. So which has a big difference? Which number has a big difference? 5 has a big difference, right? So we suppose that the outlier in this given information is 5. Let's try doing it. Let's try doing it. Finding the mean. Let's try finding the mean for this information, and let's see what impact would be on the mean. Okay. For the first given information, if we have this, if we are considering the number with the outlier, we know that mean is the average. 5 plus 47 plus 49 plus 50 plus 52, 54, 60, and 69, right? And how many total numbers are there? There are 8 numbers. That means the mean should come out to be, let's add them together. 5 plus 47 plus 49 plus 50, 52, 54, 60, and 69, right? The total comes out to be 386 divided by 8. And the mean comes out to be 48.25. Let's have a look at the impact of removing an outlier. If we remove the outlier for this given information, let's say if we remove the 5, if we remove the outlier, okay, what should be the mean? The mean should be 47 plus 49 plus 50 plus 52 plus 54 plus 60 plus 69 divided by 7. Okay, when the outlier is a minimum number, the mean will not be affected so much. But when an outlier is a maximum number, the mean would be affected a lot. 3. The total came out to be 381 divided by 7. And this comes out to be 54.4. So we can see that the mean, which was originally 48.25, if we remove the outlier, the mean changes a lot by a lot of values, right? 6 units. So we can say that an outlier impacts the mean, right? And an outlier also impacts the range. You don't have to find the mean, and I'm just giving you an example showing you how would an outlier affect the given information or the given data. Okay, let's say, okay, for the next question, let's try to do the mean again. Okay, and let's try to do the range again and see what can happen. Okay, because the numbers over here would have a very huge difference. For question number 4, let's try, sorry, just a moment, please. For question number 4, if I say this is the information that has been provided to us, and these are the numbers that have been given to us, Let's say if for this given data set, we need to find the outlier. This number and this number, right? They're arranged in ascending order. 11 with the next number has a difference of 10. This with the next number has a difference of, we can say 881 minus 97. This has a difference of 784. So in this case, the outlier should be, 881. Let's look at the impact of the outlier. If this information was given to us, let's solve it once with the outlier and once without the outlier. Let's simply look at the range. So what would be the range in this case with the outlier? The range is always the maximum value minus the minimum value. The maximum was 881 minus 11. That would be 870, comes out to be the range. That means the values, the given information, the values they lie within a range of 870. We already have the outlier. We're just looking at the impact of outlier. Okay. For for the next information that has been provided to us, these were the values. Let's try removing the outlier. Now let's see what will be would we have a great impact on the range or not? Maximum minus the minimum. So this is our maximum now. That means the range without an outlier would come out to be only 86. And there is a huge difference between 870 and 86, right? Therefore, we can say then outlier will affect the range and the median and the mean, sorry, and the median a lot. Median would be just the middle value. Mean and the range are affected up till now because we haven't done standard deviation, right? So once we'll do standard deviation and variation, that would also be affected. Okay. Let's have a look at the next question. For the next question, let's try to simply find an outlier. Question number 5. We don't have to simplify in this, we just have to identify. Okay. This is our question number 5. We only have to identify an outlier. So what should be an outlier in this question? Can I have an answer? What should be an outlier? 59 and 69 have a difference of 10. 179 and 95 have a difference of, let's see, 179 minus 95. They have a difference of 84. So which numbers have a huge difference? Yes, 179 has a bigger difference. So we can say the outlier is 179. We can represent this information on a number line as well, right? We can say 59 was here, 69, 75, 76, 77, 83, till 95. But this was 179. A number that is not close to the remaining numbers is known as an outlier. So in this case, 179 is the outlier. Agreed? Okay, let's see what else can we do. If I change one number in this given information, if I say the first number was given as a 2. So in question number 6, what should be an outlier? See, the largest number and the number before it, they have a difference of 6, right? 95 minus 89 is 6. They had a difference of. What is the smallest number? That was 2 and 59. They have a difference of 57. So we can simply say the outlier in question number 6 is 2, because the number 2 is far away from the remaining set of numbers. See, let's see. If this was 2, this was 59, 69, 75, 76, 83, 89, and 95. We can see that all these numbers are concentrated over here, whereas this number is far away. So a number that is not follow the regular pattern is always known as an outlier. Agreed? FJ, do we agree on this? For the next question, let's see. We need to find an outlier from the given information. Just a moment, please. Okay. If these numbers were given in question number 7, let's see what can be the outlier. Just a moment, please. Sorry. I'm just realigning the data. Okay. I think this is question number 7. So which number is an outlier? An outlier is a number that is far away from the other numbers. And we can see over here that on a number line, 81, 85, 91, 92 till 98, and this is 844. So we can simply say the outlier for this information is 844. Agreed? Okay. For the same information, if we change the positions, if we change the numbers such that we change the last number, okay, sorry. If we change the numbers, let's see what will be the outlier. If this was 12 and this was 100. Question number 8. What should be the outlier in this given information? If the smallest number given to us was 12 and the largest number was given as 100, we need to see the difference between the adjacent numbers. The difference between 12 and 81 is, the difference over here was 69, and the difference between these two numbers was 2. So which number is not following the pattern? What we can say is these numbers were very close to each other, right? Let's suppose 94, 92 goes till 81, and this number was way far away. So what we can say is an outlier can be a minimum number or it can be a maximum number. The only definition we have for an outlier is it's an extreme number. An extreme number means all the numbers would be close to each other, whereas an outlier would be far away. Agreed? You don't have to draw this line. When the information is given to you, you'll only have to pick the outlier. Okay? You just have to identify the outlier. You do not have to make the number line. Okay, let's see for the next question. We'll try to find the mean with the outlier and without the outlier. Okay, or we'll try to replace a number for an outlier. If this information was provided to us and the given numbers are these, we know that in question number 9, Difference is way less compared to this, right? Agreed? The difference between 76 and 81 was less than the difference between 97 and 450, right? So what we can say is, between these four numbers, we look at the difference and we say that the outlier was 450. Agreed? Let's try to do the same question with once with the outlier, and once we'll try to replace the outlier with a different value. Okay, let's change this from an outlier to a number that is, let's suppose, 98. Okay, let's try the first information. If this was the information given to us, let's try to find the mean for, with an outlier. The mean would mean we add the numbers together, that is 76 plus 81 plus 83 plus 84, 92, 93, 97, and 450. That means the total of these numbers comes out to be 1056. There are 8 numbers divided by 8. The mean is coming out to be 132. What we did was we replaced the outlier by a regular number that is within the range, right? If we do not have an outlier, we're just trying to see what will be the impact without an outlier or replacing the outlier. So if we add the numbers 76, 81, what I'm doing is we had the total 1000, we got this total, right? So from this total, I'm subtracting 1056 minus 450 plus 98. So my total comes out to be 704 divided by 8. And the mean is now 88. And we can see there's a huge difference between the means. So if the number is not an outlier, the mean would be very close to the given numbers, because the smallest number was 76 and the largest was 98. So mean is somewhere in the middle of these numbers. With an outlier, what happens is the smallest number was 76, the largest was this. The second largest was 97, right? So mean in this case, the mean is exceeding the second largest number. Why? Because the outlier is a larger number, huge number. Okay, the further, if the outlier is a large number, it affects the mean to be more. If an outlier is a very small number, it reduces the mean by a big gap. Okay, any questions up till now? Mean and range is always affected. Okay, we haven't done other things, so there would be other things that would be affected, but between mean, median, mode, and range, mean and range are affected, while as median and mode not affected. Okay, usually not affected. Okay, for question number 10, let's try to simply find the outlier. Let's not try doing anything else. Let's see if we can identify the outlier. The smallest number was 2, the largest number was 99. The difference between 99 and this is 2. And what's the difference between these two numbers? Was 72. So which number should be outlier? Since the numbers are arranged in ascending order, right? So what we can say is, if they were drawn on a line, then 2, if 2 was somewhere here, then 80, 84, 85, 86, 92 till 99 were very closely compact, right? That means just by looking at the information, we can suppose that 2 is the outlier. James, can you explain me your answer? 6 or 7? I need to know which question you're talking about. I'm doing question number 10 right now, okay? So let's do question number 11 together and let's see what would be the outlier. Okay, just a moment, please. For question number 11, in the given information, they're asking us select the outlier for the given data set. Sorry, we need to select an outlier. Let's suppose these are the numbers given to us. Okay, we need to select an outlier. So what would be the outlier for this question? Let's suppose this is question number 11, right? For question number 11, what should be the outlier? We always look at the smallest number, largest number, the second number, and the second last number. We know the difference between these two numbers was 4, and the difference between these two numbers was 67, right? So which number is furthest away? 3 or 95? We can say the outlier would be 3. Agreed? Because 3 is very far away from 70. There's a huge gap. Agreed? But if I would use the same numbers, I'll just change one of the numbers over here. Okay. And we had another number that was 160. Okay, we had another number that was 160. In question number 12, if we change one number, so what we can say is on a number line 70, 78, 80, 87, 91, 95, these all the numbers were very close to each other compared to 160, right? So what we can say in question number 12 is the outlier for this question would be, you don't have to do this much working. You can simply look at the values and you can pick your answer. So we can say that the outlier for question number 12 is 160. Agreed? Okay, let's try one or few more questions before doing the test. Okay. Okay, I'll change the wordings of the question such that if these were the values given to us and this was the question given to us, let's change the question. Question number 13. Find the mean of the following numbers. Given numbers with the outlier and without the outlier. Okay, so these numbers have been given to us. Once we'll find with the outlier and once without the outlier. So if these numbers were given to us, can we say once we'll consider these numbers with an outlier And once we'll consider these numbers without an outlier. The problem we can face in this type of a question is that if we make a mistake in selecting an outlier, right, then the entire information would be wrong. So we need to be very careful while selecting. See, we can say the smallest number was 8 and 88, right? In the first part, we'll consider the outlier. So we can say the outlier is 8, agreed? Because it's very far away. So with outlier, when we find the mean, we add all the numbers together. That would be 8 plus 59 plus 63 plus 66, 72, 76, 78, and 88. That means when we add these numbers together, answer comes out to be 510. How many numbers were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means the mean with the outlier is 63.75. We know that this was the outlier. So we remove the outlier. That means when we add the numbers together, it should come out to be 502, and there were total 7 numbers. The mean comes out to be 71.7. What we can see over here is the change in the mean. The original mean for the given data set was 63.75, right? But when we remove the outlier, what happens is the mean has increased. Why did the mean increase? Why did it not decrease, even though we removed a number? Can anyone help me out? See, we had 8 numbers, the smallest one being 8 and the largest being 88. When we take out the mean, the mean comes out to be 63.75. But when we remove the smallest number, that was 8, that means we are removing the number 8 that is way far away from 59, right? So that means we are removing the gap. And now when we add the 7 numbers and we divide it by 7, right? The mean will increase because the outlier was the minimum number. If ever the outlier is the maximum number, the reverse will happen. Okay? If the outlier is the largest number, then the mean from original will be reduced. When the outlier is the smallest number, then the mean from the original will increase. Okay? Let's move ahead. Let's do some questions from the test. I understand this was easy topic. We just had to pick up the outliers. I tried my level best to make this, okay, a little difficult for us because mean and everything was not included. 25.6, and we have done those, right? So chapter number 25. Just a minute, please. Okay. Let's begin with the test. And the first question from the test says, just a moment, I'm waiting for it to load. Okay, we have the question. For question number 1, they're telling us we need to identify the outlier such that the given information is this. These are the 2 options that we have. And these numbers are the given possibilities for the outliers. Okay, let's see what can be the answer. If this is our question number 1 from the test. So what should be the answer? What should be the outlier? Let's do it. Let's try doing it quickly. The numbers are given in ascending order, right? Can you help me identify the outlier? I'm waiting for you to respond. See, we have to look at the minimum number, or we have to look at the maximum number. Whichever number is further away will be the outlier. Say this is the question number 2 is perfect, because in question number 1, 22 is very close to 32, but 901 was far away. That means 901 is the outlier. Agreed. What about the next question? Question number 2. What should be the outlier in question number 2? Just look at the extreme ends. Meanwhile, you give me the answer. I'll copy another question. Question number 3. Yes, in question number 2, we can see that the information provided to us, agreed, these are very close, but these are very far. Perfect. 940, right? What about question number 3? Which number would be an outlier? Sorry, just a moment. Please do question number 3. Meanwhile, I'll just copy this information. I just need to realign this so that you have enough space to, and it's readable. Okay. What about question number 3? We can see that the numbers in question number 3, let's look at the first number and the second number. They have a difference of 6, but these numbers, the last 2 numbers, have a huge difference, right? Perfect. This is the outlier. Question number 4. What should be the outlier? Similar. These 2 numbers, yes, thank you, have a difference of 10, but over here the difference is maybe 450 something. That means the number furthest away from the middle, from the its previous value or the next value, would be an outlier, right? So let's try another example, another question from the test. They have 29 questions, very simple, very basic. You just need to select an outlier. Okay. So question number 5 from the test would tell us this information. Select an outlier from the data set given provided to us. So which number should be an outlier in this given information? 6 or 59, because 6 and 59 are the extreme values. Should it be 6 or should it be 59? Let this be our question number 5. We have to look between the difference of the numbers. Look at the difference between the first 2 numbers and the last 2 numbers arranged in ascending order, right? So what is the difference between the first 2 numbers? Is 42, agreed? And the difference between the last 2 numbers is 9, right? The difference between these 2 numbers was 9. So what should be the outlier, 6 or 68? I'll wait for you to answer. Thank you. Yes. The numbers 6 and 48 have a bigger difference, right? Yes, thank you. We can say 6 is the outlier. Okay. Please do complete the remaining questions. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Best of luck. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye.